welcome to another episode of Sanctuary Sunday. Sanctuary! Yes, this is where we seek refuge from the cold, hard world of war games. Nah, I like war games. I like them too much. But I like other games as well, and I like them too much. So this is basically a segment where I can deal with other games other than war games. I kind of try to focus this channel on war games and still continue to do that, but got to show some love to some of my other games. Plus, I have an ulterior motive. I'm finally letting that out. Um, I, I like playing these games with my family, and so I got to get them unboxed in order to play them. But I like to show the unboxings on air so you guys can see what is going on with them as well and share them with you and share the experience. So enough of that. Let's get to this one, which is Unmatched Houdini versus the Genie. Now, Unmatched, I'll put a link in the description below, but Unmatched is a tactical system where you're using minis, you're moving them on a board, you're attacking each other or the other side, and you're using cards basically as your activations and your actions to do this. You know, you have attack cards and defense cards, and you have these kind of scheme cards that let you do different things than attack and defense, and then you're constantly maneuvering around, and of course it's very asymmetrical. You have your special abilities and your deck is unique to you, and you might have sidekicks or minions. And each of the boards are a little bit different, and you can mix and match it all, right? You can there's a lot of base game Unmatched. You know, when I say base games, that are, you know, kind of have 3 or 4 characters in them, but then there are some expansions like this that have 2 characters in it, and there's even some expansions that have 1 character in it. And again, I'll put a link to what I've covered in the Unmatched universe, but it's a really kind of a neat little system. And one of the things I really like about it is it's built-in line of sight. So if you want to do range combat, there's this line of sight that's on the board itself that tells you where you're, you know, by looking at the board, you know exactly what other hexes or what other areas that you can hit. Really smart system there. And the first time I saw it was in a game called Tannhauser, which was another miniatures combat on a board type game. This one is just taking it to a little bit of an anachronistic type world of mixing all kinds of characters from history, from literature, and from Marvel, you know, from comics, from all over the place. You can have all these different characters. You can have, you know, Little Red Riding Hood fight Bigfoot. I mean, that's how expansive and different and varying this system is. So let's take a look at the back of the box here. You get an example of the cards that you're going to use, get an example of the map, and then you just see your 2 characters. You get Houdini and the Genie. And I'm going to dedicate this unboxing to a friend of mine that I worked with for several years at my previous employer, the one I worked at before this one. And, you know, we're basically just, you know, work friends. I mean, maybe out of work every once in a while, but mostly just talked at work. But he was his hobby, like my hobby is wargaming and gaming and all that kind of stuff. His hobby was a magician. He was a magician and actually, you know, got paid to do it. He would do gigs from time to time and still doing it. So this goes out to him. I'll actually send him a link of this. He knows who he is. But miss our talks, miss our time together, and this is kind of just a back to a memory of dealing with him, or, you know, working with him and spending some really good times with him. And, you know, I used to give him some advice on his show because I remember telling him one time, you know, I remember when Copperfield told me. Anyway, so here is the characters you're going to get: Houdini and the Genie. Other than rhyming, these look like they'll be very interesting characters. I have to imagine the Genies might be OP, but they got to nerf them somehow. Otherwise, why would you play the game? And then Houdini, I got to believe, especially since they're showing him as his escape artist. Houdini was not only a magician, but he was really mostly, I think, known for his escape artist, which, not all magicians are escape artists, but a lot of magicians do that as part of their act, and he was really known for that and some of his daring escapes. So you get an example of some of the other unmatched sets. These are the 2 hero sets. So here's Little Red Riding Hood and Beowulf. I don't have that one, but see, you can have, if I had it, I could have Little Red Riding Hood fight Houdini. And then here's Robin Hood versus Bigfoot, and I do have that one. So Bigfoot's carrying a big old tree around, as you can see. That's pretty cool. Here's Battle of Legends Volume 1, Battle of Legends Volume 2, and Cobble and Fog. Cobble and Fog that's a really good set. I mean, it's got Sherlock Holmes, Invisible Man, Jekyll and Hyde, and Dracula. So very interesting set. As I said, this is very, somewhat anachronistic. I mean, you got people from all over time and literature and all over the place that you can fight against each other. It's all based on the same system, so you can all mix and match, and really kind of cool. As I said, that's one of the only ones I don't have that. I don't have any of the, there's a whole set of dinosaurs, right? From the Jurassic Park fame. Here's the digital edition. I need to look at that. Here are your rules. And the rules are not that complex. Here's your icon reference. That's kind of neat. I like it when they use the back of the rules, so you can have a reference there off the side. A little bit of a comic there. Here's team play. This map here is going to have some different things. This has secret passages. A lot of times whenever they institute new maps, they add a little bit different thing to it. This has secret passages. Houdini has some boost tricks here. And so the game is basically not that hard to play. There's your setup. On your turn, you can maneuver, scheme, or attack, and you're basically going to play a card. If you maneuver, you're going to draw a card, and then you may or may not move. Scheme is you're going to play a scheme card, which has this little yellow lightning bolt icon. And attack, you're going to have to play attack card, either one of these red attack cards or a versatile card that has attack or defense on it. And then it's basically comparing numbers, and the winner will get some advantage, or they'll be in a result of doing some damage to the other character, and then they might have some after combat effects as well. You can boost your movement. There's a little icon here on these cards that when you decide to move, you get to move whatever your movement rate is, and each character has like a base movement. Then you can boost it by that, but you're discarding that card. Also, if you run out of cards, you lose the game. So you got to be managing not only your health or life from the wheel that keeps track of that. And if you get somebody, the goal of the game is to get your opponent down to 0. That's how you win the game. But you can also win the game if you make your opponent run out of cards. So that's another way. And I think the Genie special ability might make it play a lot of cards, but I mean it plays it. I mean, it's really, really powerful early, but then it can run out of cards. I think that's, if I remember correctly, I think that's its kind of the way they've nerfed its OP. Overpowered is what I'm talking about there. Then you can attack. So you can maneuver, scheme, or attack. So that's the game. You're playing cards to do that. You're kind of managing the cards you have. You're trying to draw to the right card you want to have, because everybody has a unique card deck. And here's a combat example. So it's very asymmetric, because your card deck is different, your special abilities are different, and but you're maneuvering on the same game board there. And each one of these are self-contained. I mean, it has a map board, so you don't need a base set, or you don't need a set that has anything else other than what's here. Although the only 2 you can play is Houdini versus the Genie. And if you ever get sick of that, then you might want to pick up another unmatched set, and then starting to spice up the flavor. So here's the life wheels, or health dials. These are the health dials, so keep track of what their health is on there. And then Houdini has a sidekick, Bess, his wife, and she has health of her own, and then she'll maneuver on the board and might have cards that only she can use in the deck as well. Here is the map board, and it's a mounted map board, and it's kind of a long one here. So this is the traditional side that you would look at the map board, and as you can see, you have this built-in line of sight. So if I'm standing here with these 3 colors, then I can hit if I have a ranged attack, I can hit anything with, like, if I have melee, I can hit anything that's adjacent, right? So it has a little band there. But if I have range attack, I can hit anything that's in the brown, right? Or in the red, or in the dark blue or gray here. So, so that's kind of a good place to stand, right? Or to be located to hit this. So you can't hit this stuff, but you can hit a lot of this stuff over here. So it's got a really neat little built-in line of sight. And then you have these secret passages. That's a new thing that's in this one that I have to read up on how those secret passages work. But I think you can like go from one secret passage to any other secret passage. I think you have to spend some movement, but I can go from here to here. But I think that's how that works. So you might want to block those off as you're playing the game. The other side of the board is exactly like the flip side. However, you don't see all the shaded in colors delineating the line of sight. You just see a little band of it around the edge. So if you want to see more of the graphics of the board, then you use this side, because then you just see the little band, and it's not all cluttered up with or filled in by the color. So I kind of tend to still prefer this side because it's just clearer to know. I see the three colors and I can know where my line of sight is on that. So that's the game board. Then you're going to have the let's look at the minis. Here is Houdini himself. And I think they do a good job on the minis. I'm not a painter, but I think there's a little bit of possibly a wash on this to kind of help with your pre-paint maybe. So that's Houdini. Then you get the Genie. That's pretty impressive. I couldn't begin to even think about painting that. I just do not have the skill, time, or patience for that. These are your little brackets to put your health wheels together. Here is Bess, Houdini's companion or sidekick, and it's not a counter or a cardboard counter. It's a nice thick token there, and that goes right there after I take it out of the bag. Let's look inside the cards, because that is the heart of the game. Is your card play. And as I said, each character has their own unique deck of cards that they draw and choose from. So there's Houdini. So there's his base move is 2. He's a melee, so he's going to have to be right next to a person. And then Bess will have the same base move as him, but then also is melee as well. Then he has a special ability. When you take the maneuver action and boost, you may place Houdini in any space instead of moving. So that's pretty amazing. So, he can move anywhere. I mean, anywhere on the board. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting, because he's an escape artist, right? He can get out of anything. Plus, you have these secret passages. The choices are endless. So here's a scheme card, and then that boost right there is like the boost for maneuver to give him extra movement points. But I guess if you also could discard this card, and not for that, just to move him anywhere. I think that's how that would work. There's an attack card. Here's a Bess. Now this is only Bess can use this. This is a scheme card, so if you play this, then only Bess gets to do whatever this ability is, because it's a Bess card, and only Bess can use this card for defense or for attack. So if someone plays an attack, then you can react by playing a defense card that either is like that, or one of these versatile cards that are attack and defense, and then you compare the numbers. And again, you're trying to, it's kind of a game of war at that respect. You're just trying to have a higher number. Some versatile vanishing acts, grand escape. There's a 4 attack, sleight of hand. Then he also has a boost here when he draws a card. So I guess when he uses this as a boost, he gets to draw a card. That's kind of interesting. And then this one, deal 2 damage to any figure. So he's got some special things on his boost. I'm trying to remember if anybody else, I think Daredevil from Unmatched Marvel, which I've done something on, I think he has some of those things as well. So kind of, they're always spicing it up a little bit and adding a little bit more to the universe. But not everybody has a special ability when they boost. And they're very thematic, you know, all part of the show. And here's smoke and mirrors. So really cool. So really interested in getting into the Houdini deck there. And there's a place in here where you put the health wheel. So that will go there. Then we have the Genie. See what the Genie has in store for us. And again, I believe this is, I need to read up on this more, but I believe it just really has to attack fast and can blow you away. If it doesn't, it's going to kind of peter out. Infinite power. At the start of your turn, you may discard one card to gain one action. Yeah, so you can just like discard cards to gain actions. And you know, you have limited actions in this game on a turn, so you get one of your cards, either scheme, attack, or maneuver, and so you're the more actions you have, the more you can do. The more you can do, the more you can beat up on the other guy or gal and win the game. Here's 3 wishes. It's kind of cool. Again, very thematic. The theming of each of the unmatches that I've played or at least looked at, very tight when it comes to the cards and the theming and the look of the minis and the solidness of the gameplay. It all fits in very, very nice. Careful what you wish for. This has an after combat. After combat, if you lost the combat, deal 1 damage to an adjacent opposing fighter. So this one, even if you lose, you're going to be doing some damage. So there is an example of the Genie cards. So there you have it. This is some assembly required, but this is what you get in a box of Unmatched Houdini versus the Genie. So love to know what you think about this, about either this game in particular, the Unmatched system, or anything. Heck, tell me about Houdini. What do you think about Houdini? Hopefully, my friend, if I post this to him, I hope they say something in the comments, because they're known for, or he's known for his comments. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. This is Unmatched Houdini versus the Genie. Thanks for stopping by and sharing some time with me on Sanctuary Sunday. This is a refuge for all the other games in my collection. Thanks again. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.